Oh, good God. Good gravy, good spoons. We're doing it. This is Ring. The original Ring, not the remake. This is, I think, again, this is all subjective. For me, the scariest film I've ever seen. I'm going to talk a lot about our first experience watching it. I'm Jacob Sherwood. I am a writer, actor, occasional director, and YouTuber.
Hi, I'm Gemma, and I'm a writer and director, and I'm also shit scared of this film. Okay,
so without further shablagoo, we're going to get this thing on the road. So, as always, this is not a video, but an audio commentary. So if you wish to sync this up with your own copy of Ring, you can do so in 3, 2, 1, play.
Oh, good God.
Straight into the credits, so there's no like logos or anything, let's go straight in. Well, actually, no, there is like a logo. It's like there's such productions, but because it's in Japanese, it just looks like part of the credits.
Should we turn the light off?
Yeah, let's just get spooked.
Yeah.
The sound design in this film is excellent. Straight away, you know you're in for something really frightening. Now, this film, I think, really benefits from the home video experience. This opening shot here of the water, by the way, massively influenced the opening shot of my own film, Darkland, which I talk about a lot in the show because it's the film I'm editing at the moment. The opening of this really influenced it.
I can tell.
Because that's a film that takes place entirely on an island, and I want to see the sort of moon reflecting on the water and everything like that. I've never read the book. Apparently it's very different. I've never actually read it.
Me neither, but I've been wanting to.
But I don't know how it would work as a book. What works so well as this is in this film is watching it on home video, because it's a film about creepy videos. Yeah. Now I saw this, even though it was made in the late 90s, it came out here in like 2000, 2001, something like that. And I saw it around about the age of 15, I think. It hadn't been out that long. I think it was 2004 when I was 15, so it hadn't been out that long. Really scary. I saw it on VHS. So this is great. So straight away you get the kind of urban legend tone, kind of like with Candyman. You know, is Candyman live? By the way, we did a Candyman episode. Did we put that up?
We did, yeah. No, yeah. How did we?
Did we? Because I remember recording Candyman.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
Did we stick that shit up live yet?
No, we didn't.
All right, let's do that as well.
Yeah.
Maybe Matt still has it.
Yeah, maybe.
But straight away you get the kind of like urban legend tone of just some kids hanging out. Straight away it kind of cements it in the 90s, but it does something new. It kind of inverts it a little bit. I don't know, well, maybe not inverts, but it sort of subverts it. You know, it does something new with that tone. You know, it actually makes it scary. You know,
it does.
Because I think we've all been kind of teenagers, you know, recounting spooky stories to each other. Oh, did you hear about that kid who died or whatever? You know.
I think when I first watched this would be about 2007. I was 13 in 2007.
You're so young.
I was 14. I was 14 in 2007, but I was probably 13 when I watched it.
Yeah. But yes, again, fear is an entirely subjective thing. So this is just, there might be people in the comments going, "Lol, you were scared by this. What a feg." But you know, just this is all opinion. I was a teenager. I think when I was 13, 14 years old, I saw the Blair Witch Project again on VHS cassette in the right environment. You know, in the dark. You know, nobody to talk to, complete silence. Just soaking it all in and immersing myself in the story. By the way, I hate that this film, and every version I've seen of it has it, doesn't have any kind of border or shadow around the subtitles, and they constantly seem to land on white things in the foreground.
Yeah. So
unless your Japanese is quite good, there are going to be moments where you go, "What?"
Yeah.
Can you speak up, love? But anyway, yeah, so it's in the Blair Witch Project, and it really frightened me at sort of that age. I remember thinking, "There'll never be a scarier film than that," right? I come back from a holiday back to with my mum, who I was living with at the time, obviously because I was a young boy, and she's like, "I've seen the scariest film ever made." I was like, "What is it?" "It's called Ring, and you have to watch it." I was like, "Ring? What are you on about?" I was like, "Trust me, it's the scariest film you'll ever see." Right? Oh, that's ridiculous. And my mother, you know, she's like a grown woman. doesn't get scared by movies. She's the one who showed me Poltergeist and stuff, and you know, she showed me The Exorcist and things. I show her stuff that I think is scary all the time, even today, and she's like, "That's not scary." She showed me this movie. Oh my! I've never been so frightened. There's a point much later on in the movie, much later, when like one of the big scares happens, where I had to cover my mouth with my hands so that I didn't scream. That's how frightening this film was to me. And even to this day, the atmosphere is so strange and nightmarish. I really feel like when I watch Ring that I'm having a really terrible dream. Again, it's one of those movies. I kind of like Fire Walk with Me, but more so. Mm-hmm. Or like Lost Highway, one of those kind of movies, but like way worse.
Yeah. It is just.
It kind of plays with cliches and conventions, doesn't it? Because like they have the phone call here, and then like the false moment of like, oh, everything's cool. You know, I think from what I remember, she picks up the phone here, and it's just like their mom. It's like her mom or something. Like,
yeah,
it's like completely normal. It's just like, yeah, that's the thing that you get in horror movies all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just going to check if Matt has the commentary for Candyman, because we should put that up, right? We should actually put up the things we've recorded.
Yes, we did do Candyman.
Do I have it on my laptop, actually?
That reminds me, I should probably reply to him and say, like, reply to the message that he sent me saying happy birthday, because I've not been on Skype.
I just go to the desktop and try to find it. Well, Gemma, I'm doing stuff, so you should.
Okay, I'm just watching the telly.
Well, no, that's not what we do. This is a show.
I know. Right, okay. She's grabbing a glass.
Audio descriptions for the visually impaired.
Oh god, this bit.
Again, like the sound design is so effective, isn't it?
It is.
And then
right.
sort of like the long takes and the tracking. It's just really, again, it's nightmarish.
It is.
It's unnatural.
Oh, it's just. Oh, I don't like it. Don't like it. Strange danger.
Bad touch.
Oh, it's.
Right, I don't know what I would have called the Candyman commentary or where I would have saved it, but I don't think I have it, so I'm just going to message Matt.
Okay. I watched this again. Most recently, I watched this on my own. On my own in the dark, when I was about a couple of years back. And just a spider crawled out from underneath my television. That was just that was just it for me. It was a train to Nopesville, as they call it.
There are moments in this film that are pure nope.
Yeah.
Something about it as well. Like, even though watching it on DVD, which is like fairly decent compared to VHS, it just looks like grimy and VHS-y, doesn't it? Like the whole film is that the colours are slightly off, and either they're too saturated or not saturated enough, or you know, here this it's very like kind of almost like home video-ish, isn't it? With the light coming through even though it's quite beautiful, the light coming through the window there, you wouldn't normally do a shot like that with it sort of bleeding out into the lens. All these things that just make everything feel a little bit unnatural and a little bit not quite right.
Also, as well as, I mean, considering this is 1998, I mean, films around 1998 are quite, you know, they're cemented, and they're quite close to films you see in the early 2000s. Cemented in like a kind of way that it's not like it doesn't look like the early 90s where films still look like 80s films.
I know what you mean. Like they look modern. I was just confused by your use of the word cemented, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like they look more. This doesn't look unprofessional. This is a very well made film. Yeah. But there's a sort of, again, intentional home video quality to it. So
I'm saying, like, it doesn't look like it was made in 1998.
No, it looks like they've had like really cheap cameras to make this movie. Yeah. And it just, again, it adds to that atmosphere of true nightmarishness. Now, one thing is, for me, I think this is No, we haven't put it on the 31st of October because we're doing this sort of in terms of like in popularity and what people in public consciousness think is really scary and stuff like that. But I'd like to ask people at home what they think is the most frightening film ever made, or the film that's not necessarily the most frightening film ever made on a grand scale, but the film that personally frightened them the most.
Because again, fear is subjective.
Yeah, and again, these are different things because I can say like you can say like, oh, The Shining is the scariest film ever made, but it didn't scare me, but it's super scary, you know. Or like this film is really good, but I didn't really like it. It's just good, but it's not my cup of tea. So what I'm asking is, what frightened you the most of any film you've ever seen?
That's a good question.
How about you?
It is probably around. It would probably be this one. If it weren't, I'm trying to think. There was one other. Like, if it's definitely this one, and along with probably if you asked me a few years back, it would have been Poltergeist.
Poltergeist. Yeah, really.
Yeah,
that surprises me. I mean, Poltergeist is scary, sure, but I mean, I think we've watched scarier films than Poltergeist for this show.
Oh yeah, and I'm just Poltergeist affected me in a way when I was younger.
Yeah, it must when you were a kid though.
Yeah, I know, but even so, even now, it's still scary, and it's just because it's that feeling of being a child comes back.
I noticed you and Zoe becoming quite frightened when we watched that together.
Yeah, it's because it's something you watch and you were frightened of it as a child. It just stays with you.
I'll tell you what film really, it had the opposite effect of this. Was less scary on home video than at the cinema. But really scared me at the cinema was The Orphanage.
Oh, The Orphanage.
And I had, that little teddy bear we found the other day that used to be my pocket bear? I used to have a little teddy bear that sat in my front jacket pocket. I passed him around to the cinema. I was at a small flea pit cinema in Broadstairs called The Palace. In spite of it being tiny and a bit of a flea pit, it is an excellent cinema. Because they play a lot of foreign films and things like that, and a lot of stuff you wouldn't know. I got to see The Master there. Nice. On the films that don't get a general release in like southeastern UK, so it was cool to go there, and I saw The Orphanage there, and I was passing around my little teddy bear around the audience for people because the audience was so frightened. There were like awkward laughs of like, there's towards the end of the movie where they're like, you realise they're going to go down to the basement, and everyone in the audience was like laughing because they're like, oh my god, could this get any scarier?
I watched.
I don't think, looking back, that scared me tons at the time, but looking back, nothing has scared me as much as Ring.
No, The Orphanage, I watched that at home on my own again, but it was on DVD on my own.
Yeah.
It is a harrowing film.
It gets under your skin, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm actually just trying to think, because I mean, Poltergeist, it's more to do with Poltergeist for me in a way. It takes me back to that childhood fear.
Yeah.
And that's why it still gets to me. And this as well is a bit different. Feels again, it's a different kind of fear I get with it. And there's another one.
Now this is the sort of funeral stuff. Well, it's more like a wake, isn't it? Yeah. This is very traditional, and it's interesting as a Westerner to see this kind of stuff because this is very culturally very different. I found this when I watched The Host, which of course it's not a Japanese film, it's Korean. But again, when you look at stuff from the Far East, the way they handle grief is very different. I mean, it's dignified in its own way, but it's perhaps not so quiet as the way we do it over here. It's a bit more kind of open and expressive, and I find that interesting as a foreigner to sort of observe in a film. You still haven't seen The Host, have you?
No,
that's
I haven't.
Very good.
No. I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
It's very dark for a monster film, and I think it owes a lot to the original Godzilla. And yes, I do pronounce it Godzilla because that's how I've always known the monster to be called. I know it's wrong, but that's how I'll always say it. That kid is like scary looking. They literally just like with them, they probably just put a casting call out for scary looking kids.
Yeah.
The framing is just odd, isn't it? It's a really unusual looking film. I remember because I saw this in my teens when I was getting into the idea of filmmaking and starting to experiment with 8mm tapes and making my own films. And I remember thinking, God, this is an interesting looking movie, isn't it? Look at that shot. Brilliant. A lot of like long takes and locked shots in this. But yeah, the use of light and colour and things, it's different to other films. I think that's why it stands out. I think that's why the remake is such a shame, because it's so generic. The remake is like a really bland Hollywood film, whereas this is so artsy. Like it just doesn't gel.
Yeah.
Like the two are so different from me, and I kind of felt that way about. And especially, I mean, I think Red Dragon's a much better film than the remake of Ring, or The Ring as it's called. But I think that it's the same sort of thing where Manhunter is really artistic, and Red Dragon is very Hollywood and by the numbers.
Yeah.
And I felt that way. Like Ring is really artistic, and The Ring is really by the numbers.
Yeah, it is. The Ring, the remake, stars Brian Cox, who is in Manhunter.
Yes.
There we go.
It's Naomi Watts, who plays a lot of Americans for an English woman.
She's Australian, she not?
Is she? Oh, I thought she was from Kent.
No, I think she's Australian.
Well, who the fuck am I thinking of then? Go Google this shit right now, because I swear to God she's from Kent.
Naomi Watts. I'm sure she's Australian.
You're probably right, but there's some really famous actress who plays Americans all the time who's from Kent, and I could have sworn it was Naomi Watts. Because being Kentish myself, I'm always like, Kent represent when somebody's from Kent and is famous.
I'm doing the same because I'm Scottish as well.
Yeah.
But I don't go up, but not for people from Kent. That doesn't go hand in hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if someone's Scottish, I usually like yeah.
And isn't Daisy Ridley Kentish?
I think
From Star
maybe
Wars.
Daisy Lord. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'm just thinking of Kentish people.
And I think she just says she's from London.
I love the way
London.
London. Well, don't all your Scottish friends and family think you're living in London?
Yes.
Because they can't differentiate Kent from London.
Yeah.
Because it's in the south. It's fucking London.
Yeah, it's just like I hope
That
you're
was
enjoying.
so Irish. That was meant to be Scottish. That came out so Irish.
Yeah.
Pouring some wine because I'm dead scared.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Is that the only way we're going to make it? Stop clanging the fucking glasses
I'm
against
sorry.
me. Just move the shit out of the way.
I know, it's really annoying.
There we go. Now there's no plate for you to bash it against.
Okay. Oh yeah, she is from Kent.
Haha, told you.
But she grew up in Australia.
Doesn't matter,
I know
she's
it.
from Kent.
Okay, whatever.
But as a woman from Kent, she plays a lot of Americans, rather. This is fucking grim, isn't it? Like when you see the security tape, like or the news tape, whatever it is of the crime scene. See, again, they really overdid it in the remake. They had them all warped and contorted, but in this, they're just frozen in a state of terror. And to me, that's so much more effective.
Yeah, it is.
Straight away, it sets up that tone of like they're dying from the sheer fear of it. I mean, I know that they said it later that they are actually it's that Sadako wills them to die. She just chooses it and it happens. But they die in such a state of terror that it also kind of seems like they're just dying because they're frightened.
Yeah.
You know, like it's sort of an idea of seeing something so scary it just kills you. Which of course has happened, and people have died of like spontaneous heart failure and things when they've seen something so frightening.
I know I mean, apart from it's not coming to me, but I think Ring's probably the scariest film I've ever seen.
It's terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we're just watching it right now, and we're gonna have a bad time.
I mean, there's films that scare me.
Let's put it this way: I'm uploading
different
this afterwards, so it's not a spoiler, even though we're recording this first. This film is so scary, we're cheering ourselves up with Eraserhead afterwards.
Yes.
That's how frightening this is.
Yes. I mean, imagine thinking that Eraserhead's going to cheer you up.
Oh, absolutely haram. But after this, is what I'm saying. Like Eraserhead's going to seem like watching Garfield.
Yeah.
Did you ever do that when you were like younger, like when you lived alone, like watch a really scary movie and then watch cartoons afterwards? I've done that so many times.
Well, the thing is, like, it's not really counting so much because I was younger. But the first time I ever watched Final Destination, the thing is with Final Destination is that the film itself, like, it's not a very well made film, like in the sense, like, I mean, not all the sequels are pretty shit and everything.
Oh, well,
but the film's okay. It's just the bit that gets me is that death is like you can't see it in things. Yeah. It's like freak accidents that could happen to you. Well, not in the way that it happens. But,
I guess as the films went on, it was less like freak accidents that could happen and more like an elaborate game of mousetrap.
Yes, but like you know what I mean. like, I think I definitely watched cartoons after that, and I also watched Top Gear.
I'm trying to think, like, do you have a cartoon or a film that you associate with watching scary movies that you always watch to cheer yourself up?
Yes. The Raggy Dolls.
The Raggy Dolls. I'm trying to think if I have one. I think I went through a phase when I was really young, when I was like 13, 14, of watching the movie, it's a terrible movie, watching the movie Road Trip to cheer myself up. Because it's such like a dumb, harmless film. Like, I wouldn't watch it now, but like...
Is that a film with Michelle Trachtenberg in it?
I don't know if fucking Michelle Trachtenberg's in it. I don't remember. It's got Tom Green in it, who's just the worst actor, and I can't believe he was ever famous.
Yeah, Freddy Get Fingered, yeah.
Yeah. I like this... I think, do they have the warped photo in this scene, or is that later?
I'm sure Michelle Trachtenberg's in Road Trip.
There it is. Is this film just going to be you like slowly exhaling every few minutes so something spooky happens?
Yep.
It's because you know it's coming, because you've seen it before and you know how fucking scary this film is.
Yep.
That's the whole commentary, like, people who've never seen this film but listen anyway take from us, like, I don't know if I want to watch Ring. That kid seems traumatized, doesn't he? Like, he's just not quite... I don't know if he's just, like, bad kid acting or really good kid acting. You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell if he's just, like, he's a kid, so he's, like, slightly wooden and, like... Or whether the kid is actually, like, a fucking genius actor. Yeah. And, like, actually just nails the, like, grief and, like, slight kind of not rightness of it all. But it works in the film's favour regardless. It doesn't matter if it's intentional or not. It works in the film's favour.
Yeah. Jacob's Ladder is also a film I find really scary. I mean, we've already
Jacob's
done
Ladder's
Jacob's
really
Ladder.
good, yeah, that's really scary.
Like, I mean, we've already done the commentary on that, but it's a film that still gets to me. It's the subtlety, like, that's again, this film, it's not in your face, it's subtle.
The same director as Dark Water, which I really like as well. I think this is scarier than Dark Water, but Dark Water is more like a mystery than an actual horror film.
Yeah.
There's some really scary moments.
I don't know what it is about Japanese imagery though that is so scary, or Japanese urban legends.
Well, I think a lot of it is garbage. Like, there's a lot of just like, and thanks to this film in part was responsible. But the sort of, and there's long black hair, woo, you know, and a lot of it is quite repetitious. Like, you go to well, it doesn't exist anymore. When you used to go to the Blockbuster, you'd walk through World Cinema and you'd see a bunch of movies that just had like a little girl with long black hair on the front cover, and you'd be like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna watch that. It's gonna be shit.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, though. Some Japanese horror films are really scary. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Ju-on.
I like Ju-on.
But...
it's scary.
I think it's scary, but the problem... I have a hard time connecting with the story, because it's so steeped in Japanese folklore, and I'm someone who's grown up in England, that the film... There's an assumed knowledge. It sort of assumes that its audience is sort of in on it, and I'm so, as an outsider, so not in on it. That I'm like, wait, what the fuck's going on through most of that movie?
Did you ever see the remake with Sarah Michelle Gellar?
No, I didn't.
It's not very good. I mean, obviously.
It was named The Grudge, wasn't it, the remake?
Yeah, The Grudge, yeah.
So probably what that means, or what Ju-on means. I don't.
Yeah.
I studied Japanese for a while back when I was working at the Canterbury Tales, but I haven't studied it for a couple of years. And it does leave you a foreign language, you know, it just sort of slips away.
Yeah, I mean, I did French and Spanish at school, and I did that. I went to go on and do it in a kind of equivalent to A level of that, and I was doing really well with that. And now, well, when I moved to another different, like I moved to Brazil. Portuguese is the language that I think of as second.
It's not quite Portuguese though, is it? It's
no.
like Brazilian Portuguese.
Yeah, Brazil.
I was in a class once, and somebody said, "So what language?" It was a film class. We were talking about City of God. So what language do you think they speak in Brazil? And I went Brazilian, and straight away the teacher was like, "Wrong." I was like, "No, let me finish. Brazilian Portuguese." This is funny and creepy at the same time. There's something about kids' drawings. We talked about this the other day, weren't we? Because obviously, like I mentioned on the previous commentary, you're playing Shadow Man for the first time.
Yeah.
There's a moment where you stumble upon the drawings of your dead kid brother, and it's really creepy.
It is really creepy.
So it's a trope, and it can be an easy scare sometimes. There's something about drawings that by children that's really unnerving. It's something Insidious really got right. I'm not a huge fan of Insidious, but something that film really got right was the creepy kids' drawings.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have seen Insidious, yeah. I've not seen 2 or 3.
Too heavy on the jump scares, but I mean it does get it right with the kids' drawings.
The thing that I liked, one thing I liked about it, and maybe it's stupid, but you know the whole thing where he goes into the kind of shadowy world.
Yeah, where it turns into Hellraiser 2.
Yeah. The thing I liked was the weird family that smiled.
Yeah.
That
I
creeped
actually
me
really
out.
liked the monster.
The monster was cool, but I liked that weird family. Just the fact that creeped me out. It's just this. See, smiling.
Yeah.
I don't know what
context.
Out of context really creeps me out. I don't like it.
It's sort of like it puts you with clowns and like the Joker and these classic images and that famous image. London. The film was never released or was lost or whatever. But London After Midnight, I think it's called. The Lon Chaney Senior film.
Sorry.
There's some fucking horrendous imagery in this, isn't there? But those kind of unnatural smiles. And Inland Empire, of course, there's a scene like that, isn't there?
Yes, it's just. I'm trying to think. You see the actress Missy Pyle? Do you know her?
No, I don't.
She was. I'm trying to think what she's in. She's in Dodgeball as the weird Russian woman with the monobrow, right?
Yeah.
Well, she's in a few things.
I actually love Dodgeball.
Right.
Like,
It's a great film. But like her as an actress. No, do you know what? She's in Galaxy Quest.
Oh God.
Ugh. She's in Galaxy Quest as one of the aliens.
Here it comes.
And her smile is just that kind of creepy, weird smile.
I love Galaxy Quest, but
yeah.
Okay, so right away, I want to tell you how much I fucking hate the remake because the remake, it doesn't even look like VHS. It's too clean. It doesn't actually look like a VHS tape.
No.
The image is too clean. But it's not scary enough. It's too crisp, and the images are just nonsense. They don't really relate to the story enough.
No.
Okay, so here it comes. One of the most frightening things I've ever seen in my life is this video. Now, I'm happy to talk over because that's the point of these commentaries, but something about it is just so unsettling. It's just like VHS gimmicks, isn't it? But again, watching this film in home video is the only way to watch it.
Yeah. Like
that's horrible. And the sound that it makes.
No. Thing is, like these
fuck off.
The DVD menu has an extra feature of just watching the movie.
Yeah, I'm
like watching this, and I'm like,
chance, mate.
No.
Like, it's not gonna happen. And then I love that they end at the well. And whenever you watch the film, I always find myself watching the well and seeing if you can see Sadako.
Yeah. I was looking at that.
I love how she's like, what? Like, fuck did I just watch?
It's okay.
She seems a bit creeped out, but not like horrendously terrified. I think like obviously because we do creepypastas on this channel, something like, yeah. So she's freaked out because she's just seen something in the room with her, and she knows the context that it is supposedly a haunted videotape. It's cursed. But at first she's just like confused by it. But so often in these creepypastas, they have no knowledge of the haunted tape or the haunted video game or the haunted music or whatever, and they freak right out straight away.
Yeah.
Something I tried to do in Darkland was to have him just kind of confused and a bit sort of like tickled by it almost. Like, that's strange. I like that you don't hear the phone call in this one. I hate in the remake you can hear the voice.
It's like 7 days.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No. Well, the thing is, like, I can't really take the actress who plays in Samara in the remake.
Sadako. I don't give a fuck. Don't change the names and shit.
Yeah, it's Davy Chase, and she, to me, she's the daughter in Donnie Darko.
Yeah. And
the one is like, what does suck a fuck mean or something?
What's a fuck ass?
What's a fuck ass?
It's the one in Sparkle Motion.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
So I'm like, her as Sadako, as a replacement for Sadako, I'm like, nah.
Also, I don't like they did the kind of a blue eye, didn't they, instead of the creepy fucked up eyeball from this one. Yeah. And again, it just doesn't work. Everything they changed, it doesn't work. Look at this imagery; it's so good. It's like a really, really terrible dream. Like I'm gonna find myself saying that a lot, but I've had nightmares that look like this movie. I've tried to describe to people, like Hideo Nakata. Forgive me, I'm pronouncing the name wrong. But he has the master of that, you know. And I think Dark Water as well has the same sort of tone to it, the same look, and like you feel like you're watching a nightmare rather than an actual experience.
Just speaking of nightmares, like I told you this morning, like last night.
By the way, I own a film called Nightmares Come at Night. Why would you ever call your film that if it wasn't a comedy? Nightmares Come at Night. That's like calling your film The Sun Comes Out in the Day. But Gemma, if the sun is a star... I'm just going to quickly check if Matt's responded to my message about the Candyman commentary. I want to try and get that shit off him.
Like, what I was meaning was, I told you last night that I had like a bunch of nightmares and like a kind of sleep paralysis type of dream last night. It was really, really frightening, and I couldn't even turn around to say, Jacob, I'm scared, because I was really scared. Because it felt so real. Because I could feel. I actually felt like my entire body was doing something that it wasn't meant to be doing. Like it was moving out of I was having kind of out of body thing, and it was really strange, and I hated it. It was horrible. So I had a great night's sleep.
So Matt is transferring the file over to me now.
Oh, that's good.
Now, in the interest of professionalism, I'm going to go and do a wee.
Okay, and now you're left with me, your favourite person.
This is creepy, isn't it? This is like, okay, I'll watch the video, take a picture of me, and see if it gets all weird.
Yeah.
Like, she gets pretty. Like, I want to retract my statement from earlier. Like, oh, she reacts to it pretty well. Yeah, she falls into this thing pretty deep.
Yeah.
This is like, oh yeah. By the way, I'm going to die because of a cursed video, because that's a totally real thing that happens, and in my profession, yeah, I just stumble upon shit like that all the time.
Yeah, I can't believe you're leaving me.
I need a wee. What do you want me to do?
Don't go. Just this horrible music. I mean, it's amazing. The sound design is brilliant, but it's just really creepy. Oh God. Oh. Yeah, the remake does this totally wrong.
You know, it occurs to me,
Mm-hmm.
you don't realise how many classic horror films, that's a beautiful shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't realise how many classic horror films have been remade until you start doing a series like this.
Yeah.
Where you just, you have to keep putting the year in the description because it's been remade.
Yeah.
Some of the ones we've done have been remakes, of course, like The Thing, for example.
Uh-huh.
But it's true, isn't it? Films keep getting remade. I like to think, like, what do you think is the most cancerous horror remake of all time? Now, personally, I do detest the remake of this. Not because it's a really bad film. It's actually pretty generic, by the numbers, Hollywood horror film.
I mean, I did see the original Ring before I saw this. Right, not the original Ring.
You saw the remake first.
The remake first.
I saw this before I saw the remake.
Right. The remake, I liked it, but I didn't love it.
I kind of missed out on the fact there was a remake. Like, for a while, I was like, oh, they remade it. And then I started watching it, I was like, oh, this is really, really bad. I'm
not going to say, I can't think of, like, I can think of a film that is a Japanese remake. Well, that was originally a Japanese film. That was like a film like made again in the
Finish that thought.
But she's stop it.
Right. She does. Sadako pops up out of
yeah.
there, and yet she doesn't seem to on the tape. It's really weird.
Mm-hmm. Well, like it's apparently the original film wasn't that good either. But
what film are you talking? What are you talking about?
One Missed Call.
All right, never saw it.
Did you never see it?
Yeah.
One Missed Call. I've seen both.
No, I did see it. I just said that. Of course, I never saw it.
The American remake is horrific, but the only good thing about it is it's got Ray Wise in it.
I love Ray Wise. I'll tell you what, the worst horror remake I can think of off the top of my head, but it's probably worse. This is one that I finished, obviously, because I didn't finish The Fog.
Okay.
Like that. But,
yeah, I've not seen the original Fog either, so.
But is what I will say, the Amityville Horror.
Oh, with Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, where they turned George Lutz into like a crazed killer. They turned him into Jack Torrance for some reason, who murdered the dog. Even though in the story that apparently, in the book that apparently took place, of course it didn't, they have him go back to save the dog and everything. He loved that dog. George Lutz is a real person, by the way. They turn him into this crazed murderer who kills the dog and everything like that. He's possessed by the evil in the house. To the point, it was such a disgusting portrayal that George Lutz, I think, sued the creators of the movie.
Well, that's good. Good on them.
I mean, from what I recall, they had to change, like, based on a true story to inspired by a true story or something like that. And they had to put that, they had to write all the shit that didn't happen in the credits.
Right. Okay, here's one.
All the sort of Indian torture stuff wasn't true. And then,
Here's one. Here's a remake of a horror film. Considering the original film was very good and I loved it. The remake of The Wicker Man.
Oh, crikey. The Wicker Man. I mean, we talked a lot about that on the Wicker Man commentary, but fucking hell. What a disaster. Although, very funny. Unintentionally very funny.
Yes. Because
Obviously
Nicolas
it's
Cage.
insulting because it's the Wicker Man, but if you can distance it from the original, you can have a fun time at laughing at how bad it is.
Plus, it's just like, I don't think it would have been funny if it weren't for Nicolas Cage, to be honest.
No. I think, like, the film only exists because they were like, because there was this phase in, like, the mid-2000s of just constantly remaking horror films. And they were like, oh, what haven't we done yet? Oh, The Wicker Man, let's do that.
I know, it's just so stupid.
There's no way that film would have existed because of, like, an artistic reason. Like, studios were like, oh, we've got the rights to The Wicker Man, let's remake that.
Now, I mean, regarding One Missed Call, right? The original film wasn't that great to begin with. I mean, the premise is that there's a phone call that you get, like, you get a phone call from yourself in the future.
Yeah.
And you hear yourself die.
That's really scary, isn't it?
I mean, that is kind of scary, but it's not done well.
Yeah.
And then they remade it. And they remade it with, like, really, like, just with the worst cast ever. It was just really wooden.
I'm
and
sorry,
horrible.
but Ray Wise can never be part of the worst cast ever.
Okay. Apart from Ray Wise, the worst main cast ever. I mean, the only actress I can think that you would know in it is Azura Sky, who was in Buffy.
I like that the leading lady is like, this shot's weird. I'm like, really? Darling, like, I know she's obviously explaining that you should be able to see the cameraman here, but like, when she first says that, like, obviously, I waited for a while to say it because you were still talking, but a moment ago she goes, this shot's weird. I'm like, the whole video is weird.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of, like, newspaper, what appears to be like newspaper characters bouncing around.
So this film apparently cost over $1 million to make.
I think it doesn't look expensive, but it, like, there's a lot of locations and things in it, and a lot of actors, like, and there are special effects and things in it. Like, it doesn't surprise me it costs more than $1 million.
Yeah, $1,200,000.
Look at that set though, isn't it nice? Yeah. Like the colour, it's very it's kind of like Beetlejuice. As we saw at Beetlejuice, because we were watching it last night. The way the house looks when the Dietzes take over, there's sort of like a very kind of grey palette to it.
See, the thing is, it's meant to be ugly,
Sort of
but I quite
graduated.
like it.
Well, it's Burton, isn't it? You know, his stuff's always slightly beautiful in its own way.
Well, it used to be.
Before he married the Yoko Ono of filmmaking.
Yeah. I think it's like Helena Bonham Carter was a decent actress before she met with Tim Burton as well.
Like, I've never seen her be good in anything.
Really?
Like, no, I've honestly, like, I took after a Mark Kermode review. I don't know what he was talking about, but he called her Helena Cardboard Box, and I've taken to calling her that now since then. I don't like to shit talk other actors because it's a hard profession, and getting yourself a reputation as a good actor is hard.
I must admit, I do prefer his old wife Lisa Marie, because at least she was in Sleepy Hollow, and she had a really, like, small part, and I quite liked her in that.
Yeah.
I mean,
awkward.
that film, even though it's not really that scary, that film did creep me out in different ways.
To marry Helena because you know, she always reminded me of, like, the Bride of Frankenstein, you know, and I was really into, like, the old Frankenstein movies. I used to watch Dracula, you know, a lot when I was a kid.
And I was like, oh wait, my wife was the Bride of Frankenstein.
She was actually, wasn't she? In the Kenneth Branagh version. That wasn't even intentional. so scary. Like this idea of sort of things imprinting on technology. It had been done before, and I think this is the film that perfected it though. This is like in fact, when I was pitching Darkland to actors, this was a film I talked about. I said it's Ring meets Twin Peaks.
Nice.
So I pitched it to people. So it's just like the idea of a piece of technology that it has some kind of corruption and is really. It's been done in other movies and movies that we will tackle on the show as well. But it's that towel head guy is one of the scariest things in the whole film. I don't know what it is about it. Just a dude with a towel on his head pointing down, and the ocean, the frame only playing a few frames and repeating, sort of jumping. Something really scary about that.
Do you want to know something? Apparently the 2001 UK DVD release back cover carries a disclaimer stating that the distributor accepts no responsibility for any injuries or fatalities that may occur during or after the viewing of this video cassette. That is harrowing.
That's so creepy. I love gimmicks like that though. I hate The Last House on the Left, but I love that on the box it's like, to avoid fainting, keep repeating, it's only a movie, it's only a movie, it's only a movie, progressively getting smaller. I really like that.
See, there's that, like, I know you're not, I quite like this band called Wednesday 13. And they did a
sad, emo, weeaboo, scene kid, edgy edgelord.
They're called horror punk.
Because all you do is vape.
They're called horror punk.
Horror punk.
Anyway.
Immediately take your own life.
Okay, well, I went to see this band when I was 14. So yeah, okay, right. Anyway, I still like them. They had an album called Songs of Death, Dying, and the Dead. And
Sorry, I had a mouthful of fucking wine when you said that.
Anyway, they've got like a kind of opening prologue of the album called Postmortem Boredom.
Postmortem Boredom. You're not selling this band to me.
No, it's just like they have. It's just like a PA, and it's like the following audio recording, and then it's like, to avoid fainting, please keep reminding yourself it's only a recording, and then it starts going into and I find that is quite nice. They do have some really weird names of songs though.
This thing, by the way, the dialect from Oshima Island and the Frolicking Brian Goblins Be Thine or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that that's so scary. It's one of those films that just gets it right. It just finds this strange place to go, and just manages to find just the right note, you know, the right frequency to kind of to pluck, if you will, on the string, and it just like a spooky skeleton sends shivers down your spine.
Yeah. I just apparently the writer got his inspiration for the Ringu novel from his favourite horror movie Poltergeist.
I suppose because the TV and the static and everything. I've got to be honest, I think this is much scarier than Poltergeist.
It is much scarier than Poltergeist.
It wouldn't exist without Poltergeist, and you got to give props to Poltergeist, which, as we talked about in our commentary, is an excellent film.
Apparently we talked about it.
Well, we talked about it for all of about 10 minutes, but to be honest, some of the best fucking see, it's just about an eruption, but like because we saw it in the thing earlier, and then you get the creepy music. The sound design in this film is so scary. It's just like, this film's just like, oh, you want to sleep? Fuck you. You're not going to sleep.
See, the thing is,
here's the scariest thing you'll ever see in your life. Fuck you.
I feel like Akira Yamaoka got a lot of inspiration from this for his soundtrack for Silent Hill.
Yeah. Oh, he's a brilliant composer.
I saw him live.
You did.
He's very good. Anyway, just the kind of sounds, you know. Apparently the characters of Sadako and Shizuko are named after and loosely based on two real women. Both are taken under in the wing of Professor Fukurai Tomokichi. I'm hoping this is. So
can you just pass me the phone, because I want to find out what time the Nope train can take me to Safetyville. From what you're telling me.
Professor Fukurai Tomokichi, whilst not actually mother and daughter, Takahashi Sadako did work with Professor soon after Chizuko's suicide. Neither woman possessed the gift of Nensha, but another student of the professor, Nago Ikoko, was believed to have the power.
I'm going to do? I'm going to call a taxi. It's the Gemma just ruined my day taxi service.
Please don't leave. This is your house. This is my house, your house.
No, I'm moving back in with my parents. Fuck this. I'm just going to stay in the living room and surround myself with teddy bears and forget this conversation ever took place.
Okay. No. I hope my Japanese pronunciation was alright there.
Some of it was, from what I remember. Some of it was garbage, but better than Toby's.
Okay, that's good. Anything, as long as it's better than Toby's, that's fine.
Toby's is hysterical. It's just like, sounds like a Cockney speaking Japanese.
Yes.
Just like, Watashi wa Toby desu. Bento boxes are Watashi's favourite. You know, weebs are the fucking worst people on the planet. Like, I would rather hang out with neo-Nazis than weebs.
Neo-Nazi.
Hashtag gas the weebs.
She threw herself into a fucking volcano.
It's pretty metal, isn't it?
Yes. Not as metal as songs of death, dying in the dead.
I love how you said that, like fucking lemon grab. Like, it's pretty metal, isn't it? Yes! Are you crazy?
Yeah! The American trailer for Ringu pronounces
Why'd
the
you
world...
call it Ringu?
Ringu.
It's just called Ring.
But that's what it says.
The U was only there for, like, it's not even on the UK release. It's just there to differentiate it between the American and the Japanese.
I'm just reading...
Because Japanese words often have, like, a U at the end that's barely pronounced.
I'm just reading...
It's ring, Gemma. Don't say ringu. It makes you... It sounds like you're talking about pingu, and I'm picturing now a penguin crawling out of the television screen, just coming at you, and the last thing you hear before you die is "Nerd, nerd."
Me pronouncing it Ringu makes sense in the context of the thing that I'm about to say.
Just say ring. Just say slavery.
The American trailer for Ring pronounces the word as Ringu, but in fact Japanese words must end either with a vowel or an n. The U should be pronounced as softly vocalized schwa. The word is taken from the Anglo-American verb regarding the cyclical nature of Sadako's curse, and has nothing to do with the visual circular rings of the American remake.
I thought you were just hiding.
I'm not even hiding.
You just stuck a pillow on your head. I thought it was in front of your face. You've just turned it into a hat. A pillow that has teke on it, by the way, which is another Japanese urban legend.
Which you can get on Redbubble.
You can get from our store.
I don't know why I just put it on my head.
I had to open the window because it's bloody toasty in there.
It is really warm. I had to take off my jumper.
Hey ho, it's winter and we're not going to spend loads of money on central heating, so hooray.
Yeah. The sun has got his hat on.
Oh my god, this film's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at this shot. Do you know what I mean? They went out on a ship and everything. Do you know what I mean? It's obviously going to be an expensive move. Mind you, just over $1 million isn't expensive when you think about it.
1,200,000.
Yeah, I mean that's about the same. 1,200,000 is very, very similar to the budget of The Raid, which all takes place in one tower block. There's a lot of action and things.
I'm gonna check how much the remake cost
Probably
in a minute as well.
Fucking tons.
Yeah, because they also went out in a boat.
Because they also went out in a boat. They got a name for what's wrong with you? Or... Oh man. To be fair, you've been up since 6. We are drinking.
But they did go out in a boat.
I don't really like that show reasoning. Well, the remake's pretty expensive and they did go out on a boat as well. So. Seems like something a child would say.
Apparently, this came 6th in the UK's greatest scary moments for its shock ending.
Yeah, the thing is, again, I watched Bravo's 100 Greatest Scary Moments. Now, Bravo is an American network, and Channel 4's, which is a UK network.
Channel 4 is better.
Well, Bravo, it's a cultural thing. In the UK, most people didn't care for the remake. The original was ranked, as you say, very highly, but the remake was in the American countdown of the scariest films.
No.
And this one wasn't. Now, there may be Americans listening to this going, I'll be honest, I prefer the remake. I think it's just a cultural thing. There's nothing about the remake I found scary. This tapped into something in me, and it affected me.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, watching The Ring is like watching a generic horror film. It doesn't.
It's a 2000s horror movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you've seen it before, almost. You know, even if you hadn't seen the original, you've seen a film like it.
According to IMDb, right? This Ring, the film The Ring, got 7.3 out of 10. Oh,
it's called
10.
that. It's called That Ring. That's the northern version.
Have
you seen That Ring? It's about these wenches that have got to solve a mystery before 7 days is up. 7 daisies. No, 7 days. 7 days is up.
Anyway, it got 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb.
Despicably low score.
And then The Ring remake got 7.1.
That sounds about fair, to be honest, but they should have like a 9. This is a fucking masterpiece.
Right.
But again, with horror, a thing, if it doesn't scare people, they're inclined to vote 1 or 2. You know, give it a low vote.
Right. Okay. The budget for the remake was 48 million.
48 million.
And it grossed 230 million worldwide.
Despicable. That's unacceptable.
It got 15 in its opening weekend.
That is so bad. It's not even a good movie. They wasted all that money. Fuck, man. I hate that remake so much.
I'm just gonna
I know I asked you to do it, but I can't remember if I asked people in the comments to do it. So if I didn't ask you earlier, write in the comments what the worst remake you ever saw was of a horror film, preferably. For you, it was One Missed Call, wasn't it? For me, it was the Amityville Horror.
Do you know that they released a film called Sadako versus Kayako this year?
I'm sure it's garbage. There's quite a lot of Ring films that are really bad. Like Ring Spiral is a really bad film. There's I can't take the name seriously the way it's written down, because it's written as Kayako, and I'm just picturing like like a monster that just like canoes.
It's like, I'm coming to get you.
Yeah. See, again, you're doing something visual. That's not
but
how
I'm
the show
making
works.
you laugh.
Yes, you're making me laugh. That's not what this is about.
I know.
These evenings are not for you and me. This is for an audience.
I know, but I'm trying to make you laugh. Anyway, you know, just like they released Sadako versus Kayako this year. Stop it!
I like once it's like, oh, you thought it was fine, like you thought it was scary when they were far away from where all this horrible shit happened. Yeah, they're there now, and it's only gonna get weirder and more fucked up. I have nothing to say. Neither do I at home. Watching this film, I'm just like, nope, spook.
Too spook for me.
Tree spoopy 5 me. What do you mean? Excuse me.
A lot of people used to think I'm going because when The Grudge came out, it was 2004.
Yeah.
This was around the same time as 2004 would be. I would be 11.
I would have been 15, so yeah, you would have been
11. It was around the time where I was really starting to get really interested in horror, and then when that came out, everyone was like, because I didn't know it was a remake at the time. Like everyone was like, "Oh, The Grudge is amazing," and my cousin used to get really creeped out by that death rattle.
Yeah.
And her dad used to just do it during the phone. He used to put himself on withheld.
Yeah.
And just start.
What a dickhead!
I know. And he did it to me once as well. He would just oh, withheld number, and then he'd just go down the phone.
Yeah.
And it would be like, but then again, this is the same uncle that used to go up the stairs and be like, Gemma, I'm on the first step. But after telling me that scary story about the dolls.
Yeah. Can you tell the story? Because people at home might not know what you're on about.
Well, you know.
This is a private.
Anyway,
joke.
Just then, I'm sure a lot of you've heard it because it is kind of a similar, it kind of similarly went into things like Annabelle and stuff like that. Is that the doll that it was a girl? I used to get this scary story told to me when I was sleepovers, and it was about a China doll that this girl was really into and played with all the time until she got a little bit older, and then decided that the doll wasn't special anymore, and left it down the stairs one night. And then while she was asleep at night, she could hear the doll coming up the stairs, and it kept saying things like maybe like, "Sophie, I'm on the first step," and then every single night the doll would get closer and closer until it was like she was in the bedroom with her, and it used to creep me out so much. I mean, my cousin's house was very creepy in the first place. I couldn't even stay in her room without feeling really scared on my own. I could not be in the room by myself.
Look at the colours here, by the way.
Really beautiful.
Sorry to interrupt, but look at the colours here. Incredible.
Really, really beautiful.
Everything's blue, and yet they still pull out the green and yellow.
Yeah.
In the sort of...
So good.
There was obviously some very unique kind of methods in the post-production to get all these colours.
Yeah.
It just gives you that dreamy atmosphere. Sorry, carry on with your story.
I just my cousin's house, I was never very comfortable in the first place. Like, if she left,
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, but have you ever felt like you're in a bedroom or in a room or something like that, and you want to get out of there as soon as possible?
Yeah, do you remember when I told you that story about the fucking ghost that climbed into bed with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. It's like, if she left me in that room by myself, I had to get out of there. Like, I could not be in there on my own. I felt so uncomfortable. Anyway, I used to stay overnight at their house sometimes, and then one night my cousin told me this particular story, and then my uncle decided to do that on the way upstairs. And I'm like, I'm an impressionable 9 years old, and I would come up the stairs, and so would she, and pretend to be the thing, and it would, and I was like, no wonder I'm all fucked up now.
By the way, this scene I absolutely love. It's the idea of even before they get onto like the actual meat and potatoes of the scene, just saying like, you know, for fishermen the sea is unlucky because every year it swallows some of us. It's just something really kind of, it's simple but just kind of dark and powerful. Yeah.
Well, that's a really beautiful ocean, isn't it?
Oh, gorgeous, yeah. Beautiful part of the world, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you can tell it's definitely a volcanic kind of island because of the colour of the kind of, again, it's probably a lot of volcanic rock.
I love that the flashback footage is really grainy and kind of looks like the videotape, you know?
Yeah.
I heard another really scary story. You know about like scary stories you hear. The one about the like ghost child, like you phone them up and you have to have a mobile phone with you because it texts you how far away from you it is.
Yes.
And it's following you. It tells you how many feet away it is.
Yes.
And you're not supposed to turn around. You have to like ask when it gets like I'm behind you. You have to like ask it 3 questions or something like that.
Yeah, I know that. Oh god.
And, like, don't call if you don't have a question because it will become very angry or something. I remember that really creeped me out. Okay, that's another question for the people at home. Right, what's the scariest like urban legend you've ever heard? Now, it doesn't matter if it's long. We'll read them. Just write it in the comments. The scariest urban legend you've ever heard.
Have you ever heard of the bath game?
I don't think so.
It's a game where you are to, at night time, you have to run a bath and you have to sit in the bath and wash yourself. And every time you're supposed to say, Daruma-san fell down.
Yeah.
Daruma-san fell down, right?
This guy fell down. Look at him.
Oh god, that's horrific, isn't it? And then it's like, you're supposed to picture a woman falling and smashing her eye on the sink.
I probably wouldn't play that. Sounds gross.
And then you said, why did you fall in the bath? Right? You're supposed to be complete darkness, right? And then you have to basically picture this woman dying in the bath, and you have to finish up washing yourself. You have to get out the bath, not drain it, shut the door, and go to bed. And then the next morning the game begins, and you have to drain. And then if the bath is drained, then the game begins, and you're meant to see this woman out the corner of your eye, and she gets closer and closer and closer to you, and you're not allowed to let her get right up behind you. You're supposed to say something like, it's a Japanese word for like a cut.
Yeah.
Or something like that, or you're to shout something at her to get her to go back, and you're to try and play the game over the course of a day, and if she catches up to you, she'll haunt you forever.
Why would you play that?
I don't know.
Like, if such things are possible, I don't particularly, even though I've had supernatural experiences, you can explain them away with science, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If such things were possible, why on earth would you go, I'm just going to invoke the spirit of like a horrible ghost just for lols, for a literal game? No, fuck off.
Do you know there's a guy on
you do
YouTube?
that?
There's a guy on YouTube called Lupus Creepus who does like these ritual.
So the guy who paints his face up.
No.
I was going to say he's a dickhead.
No, he does rituals, and it's called Will It Kill Me?
He's not a dickhead, by the way. I just think it's silly that he paints his face up.
Right. And he did the bath game once.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Of course it didn't bloody work.
But like he did it, and he does the rituals, and so far as far as I've seen, none of them have worked.
We're going to be way too smashed to do a Razorhead, aren't we?
It doesn't matter. We can still do a Razorhead.
Do it anyway. Fuck, do it on the night.
Do it lie. Do not lie.
This is the night. So what happened anyway when he played the bath game?
Well, he went to work and everything. Like he videoed it happening and everything like that, and he just said that he was just really creeped out while he was doing it. It was just
It's psychological.
I'll maybe show you the video maybe later on, but like he did other ones.
When you do things like that, rituals in particular, I mean that is regulated by what is it? The reptilian brain, some like part of your brain like obsesses over like rituals, even like simple things like what you do in the morning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like you put yourself into like a trance almost.
Yeah.
And you convince yourself of these things. You know, it's very kind of when you do these kind of rituals, you kind of obsess over them, and it all seems very real. Mm-hmm. And you can like, it's kind of like the Bloody Mary thing. You know, saying Bloody Mary in front of the mirror. You'll feel creeped out later on, even if nothing's happening. You'll feel a cold in your bedroom, or you think you'll hear someone on the stairs.
Yeah. So basically, like what you'll do is like according to the ritual, you're meant to see a woman out the corner of your eye with her eye kind of gone because she's fallen and hit her head in the sink on like the bath, right? And then she's meant to get closer and closer to you throughout the day, but you're meant to try and catch her each time, and then at the end, just
I'll
like
be honest with you, Gemma, that doesn't sound very fun.
It doesn't, does it? I mean,
there's a lot of games you could play. Snakes and Ladders.
It's a bit like
Noughts and Crosses, Ludo.
It's a bit like What's the Time, Mr. Wolf? You know that whole thing.
You could play What's the Time, Mr. Wolf. Do you know what I mean? You could play Tag.
Yeah.
Or Manhunt.
Because this is a game you play with yourself, and it's like, and there's something apparently trying to catch you at the same time.
Just play with the ball, just chuck it at the ceiling, then grab it when it comes down.
Yeah, that's just like, do you remember? Well, that's the thing. I don't know what, but the thing is, it is a Japanese urban legend. Yeah. But the thing is, one of these things, I don't know what it is, but Japanese urban legends and then being freaking scary.
Yeah, like there was the girl in the Gap or something.
Oh, the girl in the Gap is the worst thing ever.
The girl in the Gaps or something. It's fucking creepy anyway. It's like
watch Blame It on Shore's video.
You summon this girl somehow, and then she'll like appear in the gap between like the furniture or like the curtains or something. Really creepy.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of like the artwork I've seen for it is really scary. Like the photoshops, things people have done.
I was thinking like
really scary stuff.
Like that video that we watched in the dark on our own.
We weren't even living together. Well, we could see we were on Skype. Because we just watched the scariest British urban legends, and we thought, oh, we're invincible. Because there's some really creepy British folklore out there, you know?
Yeah.
So we thought, oh, we're invincible. Let's do the Japanese one. Big mistake. Never doing that again.
That was like, the girl in the Gap was like the second one.
It was like the 20 scariest. It was like number 19. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
And
then we were doing it with Zoe, and she was like, was it you or Zoe when we got to the one where it was like, if you listen to the story, you will die? She was like, skip it.
Yeah, it's because of her coma thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, not listening.
Because apparently it was like some sort of like there's a sort of thing you've got to do. You get recurring dreams. You get a dream like a different dream every night, and she's like, apparently that was similar to when she was in her coma.
Do you think Zoe? I mean, should we talk? Do you think Zoe's okay with us talking about being in a coma?
Yeah, but she talked about it on.
Did she talk about it on the show?
Yeah, she did talk about it.
I'm just trying to respect people's privacy.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be fine. I'll even check with her afterwards. But yeah, like.
Should we talk about Ring then?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so it's still great.
It's
still on, still brilliant.
It's still selling fake doors.
It's still on 236 consecutive hours. And all because of one little boy who won't let me stop. If you can, what's that a reference to? Write it in the comments. But still selling fake doors. You see that thing about pictures like real fake books?
Yes.
I sent that to my friend Luke the other day. I was just like, it's like you tied in books that are cluttering up your house. You open them and they actually have words in them. We're coming down on real fake books. Look at that.
Just
one
open. None of them open.
They're at sunrise, isn't it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was really annoyed that when we did the sunrise stuff for Darkland, like the clouds were there, so we couldn't really get a good sunrise, but it still was cool. I mean, I won't spoil it, but we had a lot of cool like props and costumes and things in that scene that really upped the production value. But it would have been nice to have a proper sunrise where you could see the rich colours and things like that, rather than it being cloudy. But micro budget films, you can't go out and do it on another day. You just got to use what you've got.
This wine's really nice, by the way.
It's lovely, isn't it? Well, I'm a big Pinotage fan anyway. It's like my favourite kind of wine.
I'm just meaning just in general, considering like I got it from the off license.
Yeah. I like how the print of this film hasn't been particularly well looked after. But there's quite a lot of damage to the print.
But it makes it feel more like a home video, you know?
Yeah.
Even though you're watching it on DVD.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, DVD is quite good, obviously, but it's still a home video format, which kind of works. You know, you're watching a TV and everything. You kind of feel like you're. Because again, I saw this on VHS because I saw it in like the early 2000s. You know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I was just thinking about this the other day. Can you believe that that DVD's only been around for what 15 years now?
Yeah, and it's already been replaced.
And it's just it's amazing.
The video was around for a long time, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I'm just thinking like back when I was around like about it was about 2000 and 2003, and I was still buying videos and video cassettes and everything like that from my video because like from my tube TV that I used to have and everything, and I'm just like.
I remember the old adverts for DVD on VHS cassettes. It was like so hard to try and explain a new format on an old format because you can't showcase what it does, so you have to be kind of abstract and use metaphors and things. So it's like, this is DVD. It's like, and this is what happens when you watch DVD. It's like people going, whoa, the picture is twice as sharp as VHS. I'm like, honestly, it looks more than twice as sharp to me. Like, the picture is twice as sharp as VHS. The sound is infinitely clearer.
I remember the first DVD player we ever got and the first DVD we got for it, and it was Shrek.
You know, upon the launch of the PlayStation 2 in Japan, do you know what the most popular PlayStation exclusive was on the day?
What?
The Matrix on DVD.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
The reason the PlayStation 2 absolutely crushed the Sega Dreamcast over in Japan was because the PlayStation 2 came with a DVD player, and it was far and away the cheapest DVD player in Japan. Bit of useless video game trivia for you there, guys. But yeah.
Well, I think
most people in Japan at the time who were watching DVDs were watching them on their PlayStation 2.
That's what I did for ages. Like I was watching DVDs on my PlayStation 2 up until
our first DVD player in the house was a PlayStation 2. Yeah.
Well, for me, like my first DVD player in my bedroom was my PlayStation 2, and I had that, and that was my PlayStation, and that was my DVD player until I was 17.
My grandma got a DVD player eventually with her. That was a multi-region one, which was cool because we could obviously play foreign DVDs. With her life insurance plan, actually. And she still has that DVD player, so...
Yeah. I have a life insurance plan. Logan will get £50,000 when I die.
I don't have a life insurance plan because, well, I don't really care. This scene, I won't say in what project or for what reason, but I bloodily ripped this entire sequence off. I
don't blame you.
Yeah, it's a great sequence. But yeah, Ring has been a real inspiration to me as a filmmaker. Again, I'm not a filmmaker as such. I don't make a lot of movies. I'm either writing or acting. But the occasions that I do find a project I want to direct, this has been one of those films that has really inspired me. In fact, I forget sometimes when I don't watch it for a long time how much it's inspired me. Then I look back and I go, God, yeah, I've really been influenced by this. This and 2001: A Space Odyssey, The Evil Dead, and Jaws, like the big films for me that have really changed my perspective as a person who makes movies. But yeah, when I do, it's a documentary I want to make. That's scary, isn't it? A documentary I want to make called Duct Tape Film School. I want to talk a lot about those movies. I do think the sound effect's quite cartoonish when he smacks her in the head. It's like,
I just like Lynch and Kubrick are filmmakers that have really inspired me as writing and directing wise, and but I as well as because I was quite interested in sound recording for a while. I would love to do my own soundtrack for a film.
Yeah.
And it was always something that I want to do someday, and Akira Yamaoka is one of those. Even though he did it for games, it's like something I really want to.
There are people that work for games, but I mean, there's nothing stopping them doing movies. Like I've always wanted to work with Tim Hayward, you know.
Yeah.
And God willing, one day I will have the money to get him on board for one of our projects, even if it's something you direct. If you think it'd be appropriate. Be great to have him on board for a project.
I mean, from what I've heard from Shadow Man, though, I mean, I would be very happy if that sounded something like I want to, because a lot of my writing is very horror based.
Quite often, it's a collaboration with sound as well. I mean, something like Fire Walk with Me has a lot of music by Lynch, but there's a lot of music. Badalamenti is the official composer of the film, but Lynch has a lot of his own music in there. Yeah. And in my own film Darkland, Alec Brooke is the composer, but I'm the sound designer, so it's two different things.
Yeah.
So you'll see some of the sound design I've done in that film. I like it because I'm not a sound designer, but I've tried to really make something interesting. But Alec is a composer, and that's certainly something I'm not. I would never claim to be a composer, even though I have composed film soundtracks. They've not been great. You know, I did the soundtrack to The Dead Walk. You know, it's very generic, very bland. Alec is an extraordinary composer.
He is, yeah.
And he's probably a great sound designer, but I just wanted to do the sound design myself.
No, that's fine. It's when it's your own work as well.
But I think a lot of directors are interested in sound design. Again, I don't presume to be a director, but I have directed. A lot of people, when they direct, they do a little sound design.
Yeah, that's one thing I really enjoyed about doing music at school was the sound recording aspect and making my own music and just being able to do. Because the thing is just being able to do that with a simple thing like MIDI sequencing.
Yeah. I think the great thing about the digital age, as much as I long for the days when I was younger and things did seem to make more sense, we weren't living in this crazy time that we're living in today. I can't believe how much I ripped this off, by the way. Like, you know the shit I'm talking about, right? I fucking mugged this so much. But like, the thing about the digital age is it's never been easier to make movies. You know, now we've got MIDI keyboards and things like that to write your own music. You know, we've got Adobe After Effects to do low budget special effects. We've got Final Cut and Premiere and Sony Vegas and things like that to edit the movie on a computer.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
No, that's the era we're living in. People are so entitled but I think people who grew up without that kind of stuff can see. I mean, even now it's kind of expensive, but if people who grew up without that kind of stuff can see, wow, how lucky we are to be making movies in the time we're making movies. That we're not trying to make it in the 1960s.
I think it's the same kind of people that I think that are still impressed by the special effects and things and the way things look. I
still get excited by special effects. I've got to say, that's something that excites me in movies.
Yeah.
I think because
I think you were saying is I think our generation's the last generation who really appreciates that sort of thing, even like video game graphics.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you still get impressed by stuff. I remember playing Wind Waker recently on the Wii U, and I know a lot of people like to make fun of the Wii U, and it is an inferior console compared to the PS4 and Xbox One. But I remember just being impressed by little details, like the fact that you get to see, and when you get to certain points where you're near land, like seagulls come by and come and sit on the crow's nest things, and not the crow's nest, what's it called? Just the top of the mast, you know, where the sail is.
I know what you're talking about.
And the water drips off you when you get out of the water and things. And I think I love shit like that. I was playing Assassin's Creed, and some of the little details.
No, it's just things like, well, again, one of
Or,
my
The
favorite.
Last of Us really impressed me with all the physics and things.
Yeah. So one of my favorite video games of all time is Oblivion.
Yeah.
And that
We
came
will
out-
talk about
Just
Ring again in a
Yeah.
moment, guys.
the 2006 graphics. I mean that was like the start of the Xbox, but as even so,
Yeah.
like people do like kind of discard it now because it doesn't look like Skyrim. It's just
Yeah.
like, and that upsets me because it's not just.
That upsets me because I feel like I don't need no regular leg partner.
Yeah, that's right. But you know what I mean. It's just that kind of thing. It's just like it doesn't need like graphics don't make a good game, whereas like cinematography doesn't make a great film.
No.
So like,
Although sometimes good cinematography in a bad film can keep you watching.
yeah, of course.
I think if Constantine had bland cinematography, I would have switched it off.
Yeah.
But it was nice to look at, so I sat through the whole thing.
Plus Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. And Peter, is it Stormare? I can never
Stormare, yeah.
I love him, and he was a really good choice for Satan. And the film had a really interesting cast. Tilda Swinton as well.
Yeah. But Peter Stormare, I think he's very underrated as an
Yeah,
actor.
he's another one. We were talking about Eric Roberts earlier. Like, he's another one of those actors you just love to see.
I love him. I love how the Coen brothers like to use him.
Yeah.
I love him in Fargo. He's great in Fargo, and even so in The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
As one of the
Cut off your Johnson!
like, excuse me.
Yeah, the word Johnson's weird, right? There's only like a certain type of person who
I'll
uses
cut
the
off
word
your Johnson. Have you ever? We will talk about The Ring. I'm just saying. Have you ever seen the edited version of the Big Lebowski on TV?
No. I've seen the opposite though. There's a version that's just all the swearing with nothing else.
Okay, well,
On YouTube, it's called it's called Jacob Sherwood Experiences Blind Fucking Terror from one shot of the movie. No, it's called Big Lebowski, the fucking short version.
right. Okay, well, you know the bit where he's like, "Do you know what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass?"
Yeah.
Right. The edited version for the TV is, you know what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps?
When you find a stranger in the Alps. So did they like record new dialogue,
Yeah.
or did they sentence mix it?
I think they sentence mixed it because it's like he's doing this, like, "Do you know what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps?"
So it's like a YouTube poop, but in reverse, where they took the swearing out.
Yes. It's
See
just
what
like,
happens when you find a stranger in the Alps.
I'll
it's
show
like,
you it.
I'm no longer picturing, because of the way you said they said this mixed it. I'm no longer picturing John Goodman. I'm just picturing Michael Rosen doing it. You find a stranger in the Alps. Nice.
I'll show it to you later, but yeah, that's what they do.
I love the way we're just keeping ourselves amused to just ignore the fact that we're witnessing an absolutely harrowing scene. This is the scene for me where it really becomes real. Where you're like, okay, it's not just a ghost story, you know. A young girl got murdered, you know, and that's really horrible.
Yeah.
And I think, like, again, we talk about Twin Peaks a lot on this because I think it's a really important show to both of us.
Yes.
And Twin Peaks does that really well. You know, you find yourself going, it's not just a supernatural kooky kind of story. It's about a young teenage girl that was horribly murdered under similar circumstances. It's kind of beautiful, isn't it, this scene, in how sad it is.
Yes.
And again, I brutally ripped this entire sequence off, but Gemma's like hiding behind the pillow, by the way. I like the way the skeleton, because where the goo is, looks like it's crying. There's very macabre, isn't it, this scene? It's sort of Clive Barker-esque.
I would agree. I agree. I definitely don't think this scene works as well at all in the remake.
I don't remember this scene from the remake. The remake was so boring, I don't even know if I made it to the end.
No, I've watched it. I've watched the remake a couple of times, so I do know it. One thing about it, considering we're talking about Twin Peaks, Ross Tamblin's daughter's in it, and she's the daughter, and she's the girl at the beginning of the film, Amber Tamblyn.
I love Russ Tamblyn. We went over that when we did The Haunting, but he's just great, isn't he?
Yeah, his daughter is a pretty good actress as well. I mean, they appear together in Django Unchained, which you still need to watch.
I do need to see Django Unchained.
You also still need to see Inglourious Basterds over there.
Mo Tarantino, Mo problems.
Yeah. Well, watch. I'll have a Tarantino evening.
A Tarantino-thon.
Yes.
Nailed it. This is another common trope in horror films, the sort of false sense of security.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the movie, where you go, okay, the mystery's solved, it's all over, everything's fine. And it was all fucking pointless.
Yep.
None of that was needed.
Nope.
It's just a cyclical curse, and you have to make a copy and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Move your foot, you're tickling me.
Well, actually, no, like the same thing happens in the remake, but something bad happens afterwards.
Yeah.
But then that happens.
Yeah. Because obviously now you've got the big scare of the movie coming up.
Yes. I've got the pillow ready with techie
I feel like I should wee first.
I need to go to the
Do you know why? Because I don't want it to happen while I'm recording. I'll go first if that's alright.
That's okay. You asked first, basically. This music is fantastic, isn't it?
Beautifully scored film.
Yep. I do apologise, people. I'm just going to let you listen to this fantastic soundtrack whilst I sit here and hide behind a pillow with techie on it, which you can get from the bad creepypasta Red Bull. I'm kidding. But yes, you can actually get it from there. But I'm not advertising because I'm not stupid like that. Anyway, don't you think the main actress is really pretty? Because I think so. Like, I think she's very, very pretty. I don't know if she's been in anything else. I think she might have been, but I'm not too sure. I do want to
watch this scene first.
Yes.
Oh god.
I promise I will not pee on the sofa.
So that was the door closing there. Oh shit. This is so good. It's such a work of genius, isn't it? This moment. I'll explain more as it sort of unfolds, but of sort of my opinion of it and why I think it works so well and why it's so scary. Again, the remake doesn't do it as well. Too much special effects in the remake. This is nice and simple. This version.
I do think that
It's
the
not
kids.
flashy and show-offy.
Do think one thing about the remake is that the kid is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, I don't really remember the kid.
I'll show you. I'll find a picture for you. I'm sure maybe the viewer has seen it, but I'll find a picture just for you.
Like I've seen the film, but that's one of the things I really don't remember. That noise. Oh god, I might actually need you to hold me.
It's okay. I'll hold you.
This is what a coward I am, folks. Oh Jesus Christ. Because you see, this film was made at a time when home video was really booming, you know, and it puts the horror right in your living room, which is why I think the film is better on home video than at the cinema. Though I never saw it at the cinema. It puts the horror right in your living room. Jesus fucking god. Alright, okay, time to regain my composure. This is so powerful, isn't it? It's absolutely incredible. I like that he's like kind of amused almost. He's like, oh shit. Do you know what I mean? Before the panic sets in, there's like a moment of lucidity where he's like, I'm gonna die. Like he knows, and then he starts panicking. Like it's a really well acted moment where he's like, oh, I'm fucked, and he sort of accepts it for a little moment before he starts freaking out. But what works so well is that it, as I say, it puts the it puts the horror right in your living room, and the veil of the screen, the sort of membrane. The thing that keeps you away from the monster, which has always been your television screen and home video, it's broken, it's violated, and that's why it's so scary. The most important boundary between you and the horror is gone. You know, the film just absolutely dares to destroy the boundary between you and the safety is gone. The safety net. I love that, like you're only holding me because you're terrified. I thought I might need you to hold me. Now you're actually hiding behind me.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, the boundary is broken, and it's so tense. It just builds up and builds up and builds up, and she's like, it doesn't need fancy effects or weird jump cuts or any of that. Nice and simple. Just a girl with busted up fingernails in a robe, and then comes the eyeball. Where is it? In a few moments, the eyeball comes up, and that was the moment when I mentioned earlier on. that I had to put my hands over my mouth for my first viewing to stifle a scream. Again, I was only 15. That was the moment when you see Sadako's eyeball just before she wills him dead. Here it comes. Fucking hell. It hasn't lost any of its power. That's incredible. This film came out in 1998 and it's still as potent as it was then. We're not living in the age of VHS anymore, and yet the film, because we're still living in an age where people watch films on their television, it's still effective.
There's people who are 18 that were born in 1998, for God's sake.
Yeah, and it's still just as potent as it was. And you can't say that about Poltergeist, the film that this drew inspiration from.
No.
Or at least that the novel drew inspiration from. It is so effective, so troubling, that scene, that I think it's the one part. There are things, you know, we all remember from the film, like when she sees the sort of Mr. Towelhead guy behind her in the TV reflection and stuff like that, and all the creepy stuff that happens on the island. You know, in the scene that we just had with her in the well with the skeleton. But the bit that everyone remembers, he looks like Logan.
He's creepy though.
Yeah, but look at him though.
He's not Logan.
No, look, think Logan.
God damn it.
Gemma just showed me a picture of the kid from the remake. But yeah, this is such a common thread in horror films, isn't it? The false sense of security, and they do it in you know, Nightmare. Fucking yeah, like you just show me a picture of the remake Sadako, and you just forget how shit it looks, don't you?
Yeah.
But let's talk about the remake. Let's talk about this. The common trope in these kind of movies is, yeah, they do the kind of like false sense of security, and then they hit you with the big scare at the end. But it doesn't actually end it with the big scare. There's still a little bit more. Like they actually wrap up the story, whereas normally they close it, like in Nightmare on Elm Street, they close it with the scare.
Yeah.
And normally, and then Friday the 13th with Jason coming out of the water, they usually close it with the scare. But this movie, they have a little bit more of actual resolution.
Yeah. And see, that's another picture of the boy from The Ring. I just think he's creepy.
I think he really looks like Logan.
Thank you.
No, I'm not saying that to be a twat. Like he does.
I know, but just say, I don't think so. But it's just because his eyes aren't blue. That's basically.
Like, give him a bigger mouth. He's Logan. That's right, love. You did not need to exhaust yourself climbing into a well and cuddling a corpse to make a copy. You have to like show it to someone and make a copy or some shit like that. I'll explain it in a minute. I was like, that's literally all you have to do.
Yeah.
And again, it like the whole film comes full circle, if you will. Fucking Christ, mate. That was again one of the bits I was mentioning that people just remember. It just sticks out as one of the really scary moments. But absolutely terrifying. Yeah. The film sort of comes full circle, which is of course intentional, where you realise that it is like one of those Japanese urban legends, you know? The whole film, like Candyman, has an urban legend quality to it, where it's all about just, here's what you have to do. You know, like you were talking about, like the bath game and then the doll on the stairs and all those things, and the little boy on the cell phone. It's rituals. This is what you have to do to survive. You follow these steps and you'll be okay. Don't follow the steps, the ghost will get you. Very, very, very kind of a Japanese idea. And it plays really well in this film.
You see, you mentioned Candyman there, right? The bit that I remember from Ring 2, the remake.
Fucking Ring 2. Both of them. I haven't seen the remake of Ring 2, but I understand it's garbage. The original Ring 2 is horrible.
The bit
completely awful.
The thing that I remember about it is very similar to the bit in Candyman at the beginning of Candyman, but with Ted Raimi and the girlfriend.
Yeah,
character.
I love Ted Raimi. Just shows up in Candyman for some reason.
Anyway, like it's just that bit kind of reminds me of the remake of Ring 2. Just at the beginning of the film where he takes this girl round to his house and shows her, tries to show her the film, just to do the kind of to pass on the copy. That's
a great closing shot, isn't it, with the sky and everything like that.
Yeah.
Finish your point you're making anyway.
But just that's the kind of, just when you mentioned Candyman, that was the kind of thing that reminded me of. And I mean, not that I like The Ring 2 in any way, shape or form, but it's just that kind of thing, just with Ted Raimi, you know, and the bit at the beginning with the whole sort of Candyman legend. It's kind of like...
urban legends are really interesting. And it's a very kind of... It's modern folklore, isn't it? Yeah. Now, that was Ring. Brilliant.
Yes.
Superb film. In my opinion, the scariest film ever made.
Yes, it is.
But this is not about me and it's not about you. This is about the audience, so we didn't put this at October 31st. There are other films to cover. Other more popular, widely considered to be more frightening films.
Yeah.
But for my money, I'd call Ring the scariest film ever made.
I would agree with you.
Thank you for sticking with us, for watching along. Hopefully you had some laughs, a few spooks as well. And we shall see you next time for another horror commentary. Until then, have a good time, guys. And apparently stay spooky is my catchphrase now, so stay spooky.
Yeah, and see you later, alligator. That's my catchphrase.
Is it?
No, it's not.
Say it all the time.
Yeah, this is the first one I've said it in.